Hi guys, Marcus here. Today's workflow is very Drupal connected. So you have a workflow where you have junior editors, senior editors, and maybe junior editors are just allowed to add an article, but a senior editor has to check it and actually check so everything that's written inside it is true. So we're gonna automate this. I will just show you in this case. I'm gonna create two articles here. The first one, both are named Who Started World War II, and the article just says in this case it's just one assumption, but it can check multiple assumptions, of course. But in this case, Genghis Khan started World War II. I just saved this. The other one says Hitler started World War II. Maybe I should write Adolf Hitler. And we save this. This is doing fact checks in the background, and if you take the Genghis Khan example, you see, oh, it's not published. Our senior editor stopped it from being published because it's not true. And then we go to the other one and it's published because it is true. So we're gonna do this with a service called Tavily, and I will show you now how to set this up. Oh, actually, one thing I will also mention why Tavily is important, because you might think, why can't I just do this with OpenAI GPT? Just ask it via OpenAI GPT, right? So one thing that's important with GPT or any large language model is to know that they are text generators in their core. They are not chatbots. They are not fact machines. They want to generate text. And this is important to have in mind. So even if you use ChatGPT and you ask it something, it might be that the question it creates, so the text it creates in the end, doesn't have the token space for the facts that you need, so it might not know about the facts, or when it's generating things, it has a certain amount of creativity, and this is something you can use temperature and some other variables to set up, where it might actually be creative enough to make up a fact even if it has the facts. So because of this, it sometimes writes an answer like it actually knows that is completely wrong, and this is called hallucinations, right? And because of this, it's important to know that you should never use large language models, or at least the ones we have today, to do this kind of chore. So what you want to do instead is, there's two steps of doing this. So either you take the large language model and you ask it for something, and then you have some service after that actually verifies this. So for instance, this is something you can do when you're looking for geographical addresses using the address field with the AI interpolator. This will then ask OpenAI to give me something, give me a places that you see, and then it actually uses Google Places to verify this. But in this case, we want to do the opposite then. We want to have facts ready and put them as context into the question where we're asking GPT, so it knows it's gonna base it on the facts. It's not gonna base it on the things that it's generating via its text. And this is where Tavily comes in then, because Tavily is actually searching the web for your question and giving back some context that you can use in OpenAI. So that's why it's important. So with that being said, now starts the video on how to set this up. So before I start showing you how to set this up, I will just remind you, workflows of AI exist. You can check all the old videos there if you're interested. And you can also filter and search by them. So it's a little bit better than YouTube. But of course, if you're really interested in all videos, just subscribe to YouTube and you will see them there. There is also, so you know, AI interpolator is completely documented nowadays. So it's on Drupal.org. You can find all the rules, all the different plugins, kind of a base idea, at least what you can do with the different rules and so on. What I am gonna use in this case, and I have already installed this, so I'm gonna use ECA, because ECA, I can't go through it now, but I will say as much as it's the most powerful third-party module that exists by far. It helps you get away from writing a lot of code, and it also creates a way where you can visualize it for your end client. So if you don't know it, go down the rabbit hole of looking at videos and learning this. Also, their Slack channel is extremely helpful, so you can ask questions there, and they are super nice there in answering questions. So top-notch module, use it for stuff like what I'm gonna show now. And so for the AI interpolator, I have built in a processor plugin where you can basically say that you want to, instead of using the normal AI interpolator processors like queuing or batching or direct saving, API saving, you can say ECA takes care of it, because this will make sense in this case where we want to make sure that we don't publish stuff that's false. So that's the AI interpolator ECA that will install the ECA module. So I have already done this. I have also then installed one of the GUI components. So if you start looking at videos, you know what it is, which is the BPM and .io in this case. We're gonna need OpenAI, so AI interpolator OpenAI, to make the step where we're asking questions and also validating from these questions. And we're gonna need Tavily then. Tavily is what I'm gonna introduce in this case. So if you're gonna do real research, you should not be using Tavily. Tavily is good for being, it could be one of the steps, but I would say if you're gonna do real research, use the SERP plugin instead. So that's the thing that actually Googles for you, and then use one of the scraper modules to actually get all the contents. But if you're gonna do simple fact checks or simple searches where you just want the small part from a website that answers a question, so you can think of it as the widget you might see on Google sometimes, where you Google something and it actually answers before you can click a link, which is a horrible practice, by the way. It's useful, but it takes away so much traffic from the end users. Anyway, this does this then, right? Where it gives you back a little bit of context, and this is what we're gonna use here to get this working. So what I have done is I have gotten all these, I have installed them, then also under configuration OpenAI I have added the OpenAI key, and under workflows, web services Tavily config, I have added the Tavily config. I will, by the way, remove, I already test ran this one time, so I had a ECA model there. I'll just remove that, so I create that from scratch. So we're gonna start by creating a content type now that is one more thing, Tavily gives you 1000 credits for free. So if you have an OpenAI account but you're not sure if you want to pay another service, you can test Tavily at least. We're gonna call this truthful article. The important thing is it's gonna be unpublished by default, so it's just gonna get published if our AI senior editor says that okay, everything in this thing is true, right? I'm gonna create remove the article body. I want to create my own fields here, and we're gonna do call this article article body, let's call it that. Text formatted long. So this is where we put in the article. This doesn't need any AI connected to it. Then comes the AI fields then. So what we're gonna start with is a plain text plain long, questions to ask. So this is basically the questions it's gonna ask the search engine for to get context to see if the article is truthful, right? So this has to be unlimited because it might need to ask more than one questions. It's OpenAI string long. We base it on the article body, and then we just write based on the context text, generate as many questions as you see fit to test the truthfulness of the assumptions in the article. Do not overdo it. Usually one question per assumption is enough. and context and context. So that the context is then the actual article body that's going to be pasted in here when we send this to OpenAI. You can see that here in the placeholders available. So what's important here under advanced settings, our normal workers are not important. We just set the ECA. We don't care about weight. This ECA will take care of. We set, I'm gonna do GPT-4 Turbo as the model, save the settings. Then we're gonna do the next step, which is basically checking in Tavily then. So we do Tavily lookup, which will be also unlimited. Let me think. Yes, because we need one per question. We enable AI interpolator, and then there is this rule: Tavily search word to string. And we're gonna just use the questions to ask as the context here, and that's it basically. We don't need to add anything there. So we just set this to ECA, and here's important, I'm gonna set it to concatenate, because then it's just gonna create one big long context field per question instead of creating multiple per question. There are use cases where this makes sense as well, but in this case I will just do that. And the last thing I will create is, in this case, you could think that a Boolean is good here because if it's true or not, but Boolean is very hard to write prompts for. So there is AI interpolator OpenAI Boolean rule, but in this case I'm going to use selection list and do list text, and we're going to call this truthful. So is this truthful or not? And the allowed value is going to be truthful. Right, this is human readable, and so not truthful. And in this case we can actually limit it to one question, limit it to one value, because we can ask basically OpenAI to answer everything at once. And here's another thing. Now I'm just showing the simplest path to this. There is a custom fields module where you can basically have multiple types of field type values inside one field. And this would be super useful if you want to do this, but you also want to answer why it rejected something, for instance. Because that might be interesting, because you might read the article and think, oh no, everything is truthful. Why did you actually reject this, right? And then it will answer this. I'm not going to showcase this. There are other videos where I work with the custom field module if you want to figure out how this works, right? Gonna enable the AI interpolator. We're gonna use, oh, what happened there? We're gonna use the OpenAI list string, but in this case we're gonna use advanced mode. Oh, so I have token module installed, by the way, here as well. You need that for the advanced mode. So then I'm gonna write here, based on the article text, would you say that all assumptions in the text is truthful when compared to the fact context under here? If it is truthful, answer truthful. So these are the two options we have. Otherwise, answer not truthful, right? In theory, we just need truthful, actually, because that's the only thing that makes a change, because it is unpublished by default, right? But anyway, then we do article text, and I just do some natural start and end here, so the AI understands that. Take nodes, take the article body, we take the value, I think, because that will have, I'm not sure if it strips the HTML tags. It's not so important. You can have HTML tags. The OpenAI can understand that. And then we do, what did I call it? Fact context. Fact context. Oh, I'm gonna do another thing here just for verbosity. I'm gonna do capitalize those two and do it here as well, so it really does that connection. Fact context, and the fact context is the answers we got back here now then. So that's what we call, what did we call that field? Question to ask. It's not Tavily lookup. And we don't need the deltas in this case. Let me see, so this is marked here. So we just need the whole field, everything, right? And that's it. Same thing here, connected to ECA. We want GPT-4 because it's better at understanding stuff, reading stuff. And then we're gonna go and create our ECA model then. So we create a new model. We're gonna do this on truthful article pre-save. So, and we're looking for the pre-save event here of content to the truthful article. We're gonna have the first event, which was questions to ask, and under here now then there is a AI interpolator rule. So this basically has all the rules that you have set up previously available here. So we're gonna use questions to ask. We don't need to save in between there. We can save at the end possibly. I'm not sure if that's super important. I think it keeps the context there. So the second thing we want to do is Tavily lookup, right? And then we're also gonna add the last one, which is truthful. Is truthful. Let me think here if we need to forward that value there. No, it should be aware now that this will work. So then the last task we need is publish, and I'm gonna add a rule in between there, but I'm just gonna do this publish content item, right? But in between there now we want to have a rule that says compare field value is truthful. So this last step should only happen if it's truthful. The field name, I of course forgot the name of it. Let me just open in a new tab. Field truthful. So if field truthful equals truthful, then it should go to this step, right? So we save this. I'm not sure if I need to save there. We're gonna see this now actually. So I'm just gonna add content, and I'm gonna start with something truthful to see if that works. Hitler started World War. That's the title. I'm just gonna copy this to article body. So this should be true, right? Well, had a hand in starting World War II. I think it would understand that he was the main reason, but who knows. We're gonna save this, and now this ECA rule is running then. Oh, updating. Let me see just. Did I actually do save there? Where are we here? Or is it that I need to save it maybe? I didn't do save entity, no. Let's just try to save this, see if it works. Update existing node entity while changing the ID is not supported. Let me just see if this is the problem. Did I do something wrong here? Template applied, pre-save. Yeah, I mean, this should run only on content truthful. Questions to ask. Let me see, so I set all the fields here. Maybe I need to actually create an error state better here. Questions to ask is using ECA. Tavily lookup is using ECA. Truthful is using ECA. So I just turn this off. We try now. It might be that I'm not allowed to set that publish on creation, but that would be weird. Okay, so that could be it. So I'm just gonna add this now and see if it works on update to start with. Oh, no, this is in the way. Publish content item. So this is, I'm testing this actually for the first time. I was testing the other thing before, but I haven't tested this publishing. This should be compare field values. Field truthful, it was equals truthful, and we save. See if it works now. So here you can see, by the way, we can just go through what happened so far. It asked the question, did Hitler's action directly contribute to the onset of World War II? So I took this as this question. Tavily looked up this and got a lot of context here. And based on this, it says, yes, it's true. So I'm just gonna try to save now to see if, no, okay, so this is making it fail. Why is this making it fail? I want to publish the maybe if I set maybe this is not allowed on pre-save. I maybe need to change the actual value. Let's see here, let's use another thing then. Value, token set value, no. Entity set field value. Yeah, strip tags, no, field name, status. Save entity, yeah, we save it F1. No, we don't need to do. Field value should be 1. Let's see if this works better. So we try to publish this way instead, and yeah, you can maybe write in the comments why this didn't work for me, if someone knows. Anyway, compare compare field value was what we wanted to do. Check if truthful. So field truthful equals truthful. It should only pass then, right? Save this and we try again. Yay, this worked and it published, right? So let's try this from start to finish again. I'm just gonna copy this, delete this one, content, add content, truth for article. We set this and this, and hopefully it should now become a published article. Of course, by the way, you should not show the Tavily lookup and the questions to ask and all this stuff. That's just for the editorial process, right? So you need to hide that from the end user, because what you're trying to do here, wait, let me just do that so we have done that. You want to do this, right? Manage display. You still want to be able to see them in the back in the form. So we're just gonna do this because then this is all you see. And then we're just gonna create something that's not true. Edible foods. Eating lead paint is recommended. Like, this is not a good statement to put in an article, right? of course, with the, by the way, with the prompt, you have to also add so it can be sarcastic and figure out stuff like this, because this might be just be a statement in the middle of a sarcastic text, right? So you have to engineer your prompt. But here you can see it's not actually published. So in this case, our senior publisher stopped it. And what you will see here is not truthful. It gets some context why it's actually dangerous, and yeah, it stops it. Yeah, so that is it basically. So as you can see, I set up these workflows while I'm testing them myself, just to see how stuff works. So because of this, there was some steps that failed, but that's good to see that it's not always perfect. It's open source, free. I'm not trying to sell you a product here. I'm just doing this for fun, and yeah, trying to showcase how you can use this. So thank you for watching.